All right, how do you take your humble beef mince and turn it into a dinner so super special and fresh and amazing and all the things? This is my budget-friendly version of Korean beef bulgogi. Let's get going on the marinade for the beef mince first of all. That's right, we're going to marinate the beef mince. It's going to make all the difference. So first up I need a pear, and the pear sort of naturally is a little bit of a tenderizing kind of ingredient. Also adds quite a bit of like a sweet fruity flavor, which I really like. So I'm just going to peel the skin off. Now typically or traditionally you would use a nashi pear, which is like an Asian pear. I just have this regular pear. I've also used apple as well, so whatever you've got, kind of make do with, that's fine. Now, and just use a grater to grate that into a bowl. Now I am going to warn you that the beginning of this dish isn't quite what should we call like Instagram ready to start with. There's quite a lot of mushy things and brown things, but it will improve and become amazingly delicious by the end. And I also want some garlic as well. I'm going to grate that in too. I need some brown sugar. So the brown sugar, not probably a typical ingredient. Typically you would use white sugar and a little bit of mirin, or Japanese sort of, it's like a Japanese cooking alcohol. But I wanted to keep this really simple for you guys and leave the mirin out. So what I've done is substitute the white sugar for some brown so that we get a little bit more of a kind of molassesy, like sort of more dimensional, three-dimensional kind of sweetness that a mirin would provide rather than just straight white sugar. So there's always method to the madness. So that goes in. And to that I want some nice salty seasoning here. So I'm going to add some soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, sesame seeds, and I want some spring onion as well. Now just whisk that together. Now it may not look that pretty, but it sure does smell quite delicious already. We've got the garlic and the sesame going on, really nice. I'm gonna add in my beef mince now. Just a little word on beef mince. So guys, I'm all about the flavor here. For me, a little bit of fat really does add to the flavor and the juiciness. So I like to go with a little fattier kind of beef mince, but totally up to you if you wanna keep it lean. And I just mix all of that together. So obviously, typically bulgogi is served, you know, Korean barbecue style with strips of meat or beef or steak. We're doing the sort of more budgety version today with the beef mince, but the way we're going to cook it is going to mean we still get some of that sort of chariness that you would get from grilling a steak or a piece of steak. So let's get into doing that right now. What we first need to do is get your wok or your pan really super searingly hot. Okay, this is looking nice and hot now, so I'm going to pour in a little bit of oil, swirl that around, and now add in that beef. Okay, that loud sizzle, that's exactly what you want to hear. And what we're going to do now is just push that beef out, spread it out in the pan. And what we're trying to do here is get maximum like surface area of beef touching, you know, hot pan. That's going to give us the best caramelization and flavor and all the things. Now, once you've kind of got like a giant beef patty going on in your pan, what you want to do is resist the urge to touch it any further. Put your spatula down and just let it sizzle. And I mean, you know, we're talking about what's going to happen is a whole bunch of juice is going to come out of that beef, and then we want it to evaporate away, and that's when we're going to start to get some really nice browning on the bottom. Trust me, a little patience. Okay guys, come down here and have a look. Now if you see just underneath here, if I lift that beef up, oh, that is some glorious color. That is color, flavor, all the amazing things we want. So now we can start to break the beef up. So I like to kind of keep it chunky. So I'll just kind of flip it in chunks. This is such a good way to treat beef mince because you're kind of getting, as I said, that seared, charry flavor that you get from like an expensive, you know, grilled steak, but you're using a very inexpensive beef mince instead. So look at that color, that looks just great. Now just start breaking things up a little more. That marinade, it's pure magic, it smells delish. Now if you have a look, see we've got some nice like little bits of color all the way through our little beef mix here. And that is looking pretty good. So the way I like to serve this is family style. Everyone can just dig in with their fingers, load up their own little lettuce cups. So I like to get this out into a large bowl. And now some final little bits of aubergine, because just because it's the weeknight doesn't mean we can't make things nice. Now, some more sesame seeds, some more sliced spring onion. And now all these other little bits and pieces, we've got some cabbage, I've got some spicy kimchi, and the kimchi is kind of like tangy and spicy and salty, which works well with that slightly sweet beef. And then we've got some mint leaves and then our lovely fresh lettuce. So let's get in here and try this out. Now I like to get some cabbage, some kimchi, that beef of course, and some mint. And look at that, such a little bundle of joy right there. Try and get as much into your mouth as possible. That sounds weird, but so that you get like a whole mix of the mint and the kimchi and everything kind of working together. This might not be pretty, but oh well, it'll be delicious. That is such a big explosion of flavor, because you have like the sweet, savory, charry beef, but then you've got like these pops of freshness from the mint and the salty, spicy kimchi. Pure, pure bliss, just that whole combination. Perfect weeknight dinner. Yum.